Hello. So in this module we gonna check our network file sharing. We'll see if the file sharing is enabled or not. In case if that is not enabled, we will be enabling it. Okay, and in the next phase we gonna use a program in our attacker machine to access the file sharing, see if that works. Okay, in the next step we will be trying to getting the dumps or the hash of our passwords. Now hash is a one-way mathematical output or value generated by the inputs. So for example, if I say a hash, so the hash will take our inputs, right? Okay, there will be a math. Okay, now these things are available on different algorithms have a different mathematical formulas that will do that, and then we'll get a value. Okay, and this value what we call as a hash. Okay, so this is what we call as a hash. Now the thing with this is we can take an input, do the algorithm, and get a hash. So each input will have a unique hash value. If input is different, the hash will be different. Okay, this is an easy way to save our passwords. I'm going to show you one quick example in our Linux Windows machine first. Okay, so you can open up your PowerShell. You can see this PowerShell is running as administrator. If you look in top, it says administrator. All right here. Now if you do like a cert util, so cert util is a command that we can use to generate a hash. I'm going to do cert util hash file. Currently I don't have a file, so let's go and create one. So I'm going to go back to my desktop. Okay, I'm going to create a file. So I'm going to do echo WhizHack rocks, and I'll put it in a file. We'll name it as a simple.txt. right? If I could do type command, if you remember these commands we have learned about in Windows basic PowerShell, right? Now if you do a new command, and that will be cert util, we'll do dash hash file and the hash file is simple.txt, and I can type the hash output. So there's a few known algorithm that we use. One of them is MD5, and it generates this unique value. So this unique value will remain unique as long as the input of our files are same. Let's go and make the same input, and I'll name it as WhizHack rocks without exclamation point, and I'll save it as a simple 2.txt. Now we're going to run the same command, and this time the input will go as simple 2.txt. Hit enter, and you can see both of these outputs are different, right? So hash will store our data in a random string value that can be generated in one way. You cannot use this value to see what inside the file, or what was the input, or what was the plain text value. Okay, so we're gonna see these things. And when we talk about Windows uses something called anti-LM hashing algorithm. So we're gonna see those things, and we'll play with that one as well. So first thing first, let's check out our sharing. Now remember, in this computer my username is WhizHack and the password is mentor. I'm telling you that so when we do the enumerations we can validate these claims. So first thing is in Windows computer. So I'm going to clean up my screen, and we'll do net space share, and it will list any network sharing if we have enabled. It prints out 1 2 3 4 shares. Now let's go back and check it in our Linux box as well. All right, so I'm into my Linux machine. I am using putty to connecting to the Linux machine, And they start with a very small or basic command that will be nmap. So we'll do sudo nmap and we'll do dash vv sc sv and the IP address of our Windows machine. So if you look here, to check our IP address, we are running ipconfig. It's 192.168.31.17. This is what we have here. So the flags, this VV will print out verbose mode. So as soon as they find something, it will printing out on our terminal. SC will take care of default scripts, and SV will print out the version numbers. So let it run for a few seconds. And right on the bat we see there is a 135, 139 and port 445 is open. Now after finding up the open ports, it's trying to enumerate what are the version numbers and other stuff. Okay, so script finish running. Now we can see the outputs. And this output makes sense if you go a little bit down here, right? So these are the NSE script or Nmap search engines or enumerations. So we see the first thing is NetBIOS name is printing out the host name of our Windows 10 machine, and the MAC address, it's here. The name of work group and all other information are printing out here. Anything specific doesn't seem so. Okay, now we do have the chair open. I could have used an nmap script to enumerate more, so let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna do sudo nmap dash dash script sc script, and the script we're gonna use will be the nmap enumeration script to see what is what, right? And we should be able to see this stuff. So we're gonna do smb, and I'm having a typo, smb dot enum for enumeration, and that have to be dash share, and then the port number, so port is 445 and the IP address is 192.168.31.17. smb enum shares, and I missed the s here. Alright, let's give it a try, and it worked, and it prints out port 445 is open but no listing of the shares. Now there's the other command that we can use. So we'll do like smb client, type the IP address and the username. It should prompt us for password, mentor, and it's list up the user, sorry, the network shares. Right, now in next command we will try and fetch these informations. So do so, let's start with the basic ones. So in Windows computer, I'll start a program called run. Okay, and then we'll go to our IP address 192.168.31.17. If I hit enter, it will take few seconds, and it will open up network share where I can see the folders and information inside it. Right, now I'm gonna run a program in our Linux machine or attacker machine. So I'll go to the desktop. Let's create a folder in our here only. So do we have folder? So we already have WhizHack folder here. So we'll do rm WhizHack -r WhizHack, and let's create a new one. Right, so mkdir WhizHack, and then we go into our folder. We have nothing, and they start with a command called sudo responder. We'll just install this first. So we'll do apt install responder. Okay, in my case this is pre-installed. I installed it before I start recording. If you don't have this program, it will ask or prompt for yes or no. type Y and hit enter, it will install the program. Next thing I'm going to do is try to run this responder. So we'll do responder, hit enter, and it says it have to run with as a root permission. So we'll do sudo responder, and they're asking for -I for interface is missing. We'll do -H to see the help menu, and we can see all the help menus are here. I'm going to just go and select Ethernet 0 because that is our interface we are listening to. So we'll do sudo responder -I and ATH0, and that will start the script, and we are basically listening for everything. Okay, now here's the fun part. Let's go to run. Okay, and this time we'll try and look into something in our attacker machine, that is 192.168.31.16. I just typed the IP address, put a /. I typed nothing, I just typed the IP address, and here you see there is the hash. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this hash in a file and then we'll try to crack it. If you look here, this have to be anti-LM version 2 hash that we can see it here. Right, so I'm going to create a new file. We'll do echo -n, put a quotation, and then copy this, copy it twice for some reason. So I'm going to do echo -n and then put this file as a win.hash directory. So if you do like cat win.hash, we see this is here. Now as attacker we have this hash, we don't have the password. To get the password we have to crack this hash and get that particular plain text value. And how this gonna work? Let me show you a quick example. I'm gonna create two files. I'm gonna name it as a PS and type some passwords like password admin admin 123. So this is my password in a file. Alright, but when we store this thing on a database, we don't store that plain text password, right? Because if we store this, anyone can read this information. That's not what we want. So what we can do is we can just go and save these things in a different file. So I'm going to do echo -n password and save it to a PW, right? A new file. And then the next password is admin, and do double out file, so it will append on the file instead of rewriting the data. And the third one is admin 123. Now if you do cat on PW, PS is this, PW is this. Something went horribly wrong, and I just remember what went wrong. So I did not make it into MD5 sum. And we have to do the same thing for next few commands. So that is admin, pipe it over to MD5 sum, hit enter, and we can just check this thing PW file, and we can see there is this hashes, right? So if we generate a hash, for example admin, so we'll do just admin instead of putting it in a file, just printing out in terminal, and we see these two hashes are matching. So to do a brute force, we are taking the input, converting into the hash and matching the hash. So this kind of attack known as rainbow attack. We are not going to do that. We can just brute force it. So I'm going to use a tool called hashcat. Okay, so I'll do hashcat -h. It should print out the help menu for us. Yes. So first thing is I'll look into the example hashes. So I'm going to just do hashcat -example hashes, and I'm going to grab for anti-LM. And then you see there's a few flags. So one is dash capital B, that is telling you the first two line before that NTLM happens, and A4 that will be printing out last four lines. If I don't put this thing, it's just to grab dash I NTLM. I basically makes this case insensitive, so if that is in caps, does not matter, it will be capturing out. If I don't use dash I flag here and just do this, it will return 0. So remember using dash I for case insensitive in case of this. Now it's just printing out this NTLM. If I do dash capital B2, it will print out first two lines, right? So there's a one line, there's a second line, it's a blank one, right? So just need a first one line to printing out. So I'll do B1. So it will print out the first one line for us, and we can see it's printing out. So the hash we captured was NTLM version 2, that is this, and the mode is 5600. And dash A, so if we do like dash A, let's do 1. It'll print out after one line. So you can see after one line, this is the sample hash, right? So basically how we're gonna use is we'll do hashcat, put the mode that will 5600, right? Then our hash file name, that is win.hash, and the word list. So the word list I'm using is seclist, right? And the file specifically we are using is most popular letter passes.txt. And I'm using a flag called dash dash force to tell hashcat, don't worry, I don't have a GPU, I know I don't have proper CPU, please run. Ideally, we won't be running a hashcat or brute forcing attack inside a VM. That's not a good idea. You always want to run it on a dedicated system or somewhere where you have GPU powers included. It takes ton of compute resource to calculate and then do the brute forcing. In our case, it's a demonstration, so it should work fine. So just hit enter. We'll wait till the password is cracked. And if you look here, it says hashcat and the status is cracked, and we should have seen the password here, that is printing out right here. Now once you crack, the password is actually stored in your computer. If you want to look into the password, you just type the hash and it will dash dash show, and it will show you the password. The password is cracked. So this is the hash we had, and this is the password we got in plain text. So this is all for this video. If you have any questions and you are a student, put it in our student forum. If you're watching on YouTube, put a comment in our YouTube comment section and I will be answering it. Thank you. Have a nice day.